Hello, beautiful humans, and welcome to Growing Through It, a podcast dedicated to bringing you clarity so that you can harness your curiosity and be the creator of your life. Hosted by me, Shanae Rowe. Hello, friends. Welcome back. Thanks for joining me for another episode of the podcast, Growing Through It. I'm happy to have you here and ready to listen to another episode. So this is number 20. We're up to 20. How crazy is that? Yeah, honestly, a little bit of an achievement for myself for sticking to something for so long. But yeah, this is episode 20 and it is called Not Everyone is Going to Like You, a 4-step guide to navigate an overused phrase. And I wanted to create this episode because I've been having a lot of thoughts lately of, feeling like people are judging me with what I'm doing. And then, I keep sort of reminding myself that not everyone likes me, and that's okay. And that is fine. And yeah, it got me thinking about sort of other people, and I'm sure a lot of us have had a very similar experience of, when we're doing our own thing, when we're feeling confident to express ourselves and be free and, live in the moment and live according to our own values and beliefs. Like, I'm sure a lot of us have had that thought of, wow, a lot of people are probably judging me right now, or probably maybe not wanting me to do well or think that I'm weird, or, not everyone is going to like this version of me. And so I am dedicating this episode to that kind of thought, whether you've thought it yourself or whether someone has told you that in sort of like a helpful way of, if you're doubting yourself and they reassure you, like, not everyone is going to like you, not everyone likes you, and that's okay. But I'm dedicating this episode to, like, what do we do with that information? Because I think it's one thing to be like, try and validate who we are as people and, still feel confident in who we are by, telling ourselves it's all right, like, it's okay if not everyone likes us. There are people here who, care about me and whatnot. But what do we do with that information when we tell it to ourselves or when someone tells it to us? And so, yeah, I've come up with a few little things of sort of what I do in moments like that, and hopefully they will be helpful for you in order to show up more fully and wholeheartedly as yourself and keep continuing along your creative journey and the journey of life, of growing, of evolving, of discovering more about yourself and what you like. And yeah, hopefully this episode gives you the confidence to keep doing that and keep creating and keep following your passions. So let's jump into it, my loves. So yeah, I think that at one point or another, we're all either told or we tell ourselves that not everyone likes us or not everyone's going to like us. And I think it's a little bit of it's a way that we reassure ourselves and make us feel comfortable and safe in our bodies and in our minds, and to give us that little bit of confidence to keep showing up as ourselves. And I think it's true, especially when we start discovering who our people are, what kinds of people make us feel connected and fulfilled, what hobbies interest us, and maybe they're not sort of mainstream hobbies. Maybe there's something really weird like flow arts, or maybe it's like a minority hobby that can be a little bit bizarre at first, but it's something that you are super keen on. And as well, like when we are discovering what sort of environments and settings and things make us come out of our shell a lot more, and start really acting in accordance to our higher self and whatnot. You might feel like you lose people in your life, friends, or, they don't even have to be friends, acquaintances, but I think the more we start discovering ourselves and where we sort of feel like we belong the most is when we start to feel that judgment from others. We start to feel like people definitely aren't comfortable with us showing up in this way. And yeah, I think the more that we make choices in alignment with ourselves and when we're truly living for ourselves, that's when we can start to feel like People are judging us. There are people that definitely don't like us. They don't like how we talk, how we behave, how we show up for them and for ourselves. And it can make people a little bit uncomfortable. And so I think we feel judgment a lot in those times of transition and discovery. And people aren't going to like us changing into new versions of ourselves. It's just how it is. And some people can get judgmental, and I'm sure like we've all been there. So I want to talk about why we judge. And I think it's not just people judging us, but it's also us judging other people. And I'm sure there are instances where you have judged other people, whether you're aware of it or not, whether it's been from a good place or an ill-intentioned place. Like, we can judge other people for their decisions, for how they show up, for who they are. And then other people can judge us for exact same reasons. You know, people can judge us for the choices that we make, for the things that we say, for the people that we hang out with, for our hobbies, for the way that our brain works, okay? People are judging us, but equally we're judging other people. So it's such a core part of being human. And honestly, like, judgment is an innate desire to be right. And it is our way of trying to unpack the ways that we are better or superior. And it doesn't even just have to be in a negative way, but we do it, like, we judge so that others can fit into our view of the world, into our perception. So like our beliefs run our perspectives. And if other people are doing things that don't fit into our idea of the world that we see, so our reality, then we judge them. And sometimes it can be in a negative way, sometimes a positive way. You know, sometimes it's reflective and other times it's just plain mean. But we do it because humans have this innate sort of belief and desire to be right and better and superior. So I guess like that's sort of the fundamental of why we judge. And, you know, another reason is just we judge other people based off of how we judge ourselves. You know, and we've heard this a million times that other people judging us is not a reflection of us, but a reflection of them in their internal world, which is so true. And, you know, when someone who has a lack of self-acceptance or love or awareness sees another person with that, it's very easy to feel uncomfortable when we see other people with things that we don't have. And then if we bring it back to this, you know, human condition to want to be better or superior or want to be right opposed to wrong, then if we see other people with qualities and things that we don't have, if we see people actually enjoying their life when we're maybe not so comfortable in ourselves, then we're going to judge them. And that might be in a critical way, and it might be in a really harsh, mean kind of way. So yeah, that can be another reason why we judge people. When we see someone else with an abundance of confidence or self-acceptance or self-awareness, or if we see another person showing up, you know, giving love and giving off these positive vibes, it can make us feel inferior. And sometimes that feeling of inferiority because of our lack of sort of self-awareness can turn into hate, or it can turn into envy, and it can become something heavy that we carry with us. And it can turn into actually wanting to see other people fail or other people not succeed. Sometimes we judge people from a place of, you know, envy, and we leave that go on for so long that we actually turn a little bit hard inside, and we would rather see people who are doing better than us, we would rather see them fall or fail or fuck up or fall short of their dreams as a way to make us feel better on the inside, even though we all know it doesn't actually make us feel that way. And so that's kind of what I want to talk about today. When you are in that position of having a purpose and pursuing your endeavors, whether, you know, whatever that is, you're on sort of a path where you feel like it's really aligned to who you are and your values. And so if we're on the receiving end of those kind of judgments of people who don't wish us well, who secretly want us to kind of do bad and fall short of what we want to achieve from our lives, how do we continue showing up for ourselves? How do we continue creating? How do we continue following our path and our purpose? And how do we live our lives knowing that there are always going to be people there who wish us harm and who don't want us to do well, who sort of get a little bit of joy or happiness, well, it's not even joy, but who get some sort of satisfaction from seeing you kind of flop or fall on your face, or, you know, maybe just not do as well as you want to be. How do we still show up and continue creating when we know, like at the back of our minds, there are people like that who aren't liking us, who aren't liking us to the point where they actually don't want us to do well? So I think the first thing that is important is to just take a moment to reflect. Like, think about the times that you pass judgment onto others, and think about your relationship with other people. You know, like, you most likely don't like everyone. There is no way that a single person can like every other person that they meet. That's just not realistic. So reflect on that within you, okay? And if you don't like everyone, why? You know, are you coming from a place of peace or jealousy? Do you not like someone because you're envious of what they have? Do you not like someone because you feel like they have more developed qualities than you do? Or do you just not like someone because you can feel that some parts of you just don't vibe? It doesn't feel like there's a real connection there, and it's not because you don't actually like them or who they are at their core. It's just like the reality is you feel like you don't get along with this person. Maybe you can't have, you know, easygoing conversations or deep intellectual, philosophical chats about life, or whatever it is. Some part of you just doesn't quite mesh well with another person. And that's okay. So think about that. And I think that if you don't like someone or you don't align with someone in a way that feels true to you, like, that's completely fine. Like, relationship dynamics are so different for a lot of people. Like, you can be really close friends with somebody and they introduce you to one of their friends, and you for some reason just don't get along with them too much, not in a sort of a mean way or anything, but it doesn't feel sort of like a friendship or whatever that you want to pursue. And, you know, it's interesting to see that you can be really good friends with someone, but not be really good friends with another person that they're friends with. But that's just the nature of things. That's the dynamics of how people interact with each other. And I think that if you're reflecting on, you know, getting along with people in that sort of way, where thinking, you know, is it from a place of jealousy or envy or just hatred? Or is it actually from a place of knowing yourself, knowing what you like and what works for you and the people that work for you? And if it is that place, if it is, you know, you're not liking someone from that sort of a more reflective and self-aware place, I think it allows us to hold that perspective for the way other people don't like you, if that makes sense. So I always try and look at it from the perspective of, I don't dislike anyone, I don't hate anyone, I don't wish anyone harm, but there are people that I just don't vibe with, and that's okay. And I know that's because, you know, we have different interests, what we want from life is different, the things that interest us are different. And so how I think about other people not liking me is the same. You know, I try and keep sort of a positive outlook that, you know, it's okay that not everyone likes me, and there are people that might get really uncomfortable by me, and that's okay, because I I want to believe and I hope to believe that they just don't like me because we have different interests, or we're just not on the same page in life. And it's as simple as that. And I go into it with the mindset that they don't just want to see me do harm. Or if they do, then that is something for them to address. And it really, like, it doesn't have anything to do with me, and it doesn't have anything to do with you. And I think it takes a while to truly understand that and learn that, other people not liking you, other people wishing you, or worse than that, other people actually wanting you to do bad. It doesn't have anything to do with you, and it shouldn't stop you from, trying to achieve the things that you want to do. I think the second thing is to give. Give them love, give them grace, and give them distance. And so I want to talk about this because, give them love. If they are not liking you from a place of just hatred or envy, or, if they have beliefs and things that they haven't worked through yet that trigger them when they see you, give them love. Try and understand things from their perspective and have a bit of empathy for them and what they're going through, and always compassion. So shower them with lots of love, give them lots of love. And I think as well, giving somebody grace, it allows us to think about the times that we have been in their position. Like, when is a time that you have judged someone? When is a time that you have secretly hoped that someone, like failed a test, or didn't do well at a sports event? Or like, when is a time that you have been in a place of not liking someone to the point where you want them to do poorly in whatever it is that they're doing? And so think about that time, right? And so if you're feeling like people are judging you, or they're not liking you, or they're criticizing you for what you're doing, like, give them grace, because, it's a hard place to be in when we're judging other people to the point of wanting them to do bad. It's a really tough time internally, because because you've been there. And so just, wish for them like healing, and hoping that they will make it out of that space, that really dark, sort of gloomy place of hoping people do bad. And give them distance. Give people distance. If someone doesn't like you, you don't actually have to have them in your life. Crazy, I know. And, someone's judgments of you doesn't take away from your worth. That doesn't take away your confidence or your value or your ability and capacity to actually achieve what you want. But you also don't deserve to have people in your life who don't believe in you. You don't deserve to have people who secretly hope that you fail, or secretly hope that you don't succeed. Even though, them having those beliefs or hoping those things about you isn't going to actually change the fundamentals of who you are as a person, but you actually deserve to have people in your life who do want to see you do well. Which leads me on to the third little step, is showing up for yourself. Keep being yourself. Keep being vulnerable and authentic. Keep having those meaningful conversations with people that light you up. Keep talking about, your passions. Keep seeking out people who lift you up, and keep creating whatever it is that you want to be creating. Bring all those things into the world. Showing up for yourself means continuously reflecting on what you want to achieve from your life and why you want to do it. And it's so important to think about, whether or not your why outweighs the thought of another person's judgments. You always want to feel like your purpose and your passions are meaningful enough, and they matter so much to you that it does not actually matter what another person thinks of you, and it doesn't actually matter if someone else doesn't like you for who you are, for showing up as you are. And it's so easy to just say like, not everyone is going to like you, and it's okay, it has nothing to do with you. But until you keep showing up for yourself in that space of creativity, in that space of authenticity, and still knowing that people aren't going to like you, and probably more people aren't going to like you, like, you have to go and do that for yourself in order to actually be able to be comfortable creating, and to be comfortable being authentic and showing the world who you are. You have to show up for yourself knowing that people are just not going to like you. People are going to be uncomfortable by who you are, by what you do, and by the things that you say. And you have to be okay with that. You have to be so rooted in your own self-belief and confidence and love for yourself that deep down that other people just don't like you, that other people just don't mesh with you, and be okay with it. And then lastly, number 4, I think, is obviously inspire. Once you are really able to sit in that space of knowing people are judging you while you're on your creative pursuits, and while you're being yourself, harness the fear of the judgment from other people so that you can cultivate inspiration within your life, and cultivate more inspiration in your creativity and in your purpose and passions. I always find that the more that I show up as myself, even with the fear of other people not liking me, not liking what I'm doing or saying, and knowing that other people are judging me, it actually inspires me to keep showing up. And it inspires me to keep creating and continue on this little journey that I'm on. And it sets a little fire in my belly to keep doing it, because, like, at the back of my mind, it's always this thought of me being myself is going to make some people uncomfortable just because that's what happens. And I can either let that fear of other people judging me, of being uncomfortable by me, and maybe giving me a little bit of hate, I can let that get to me. Or I can actually change my perspective and think that me being myself and me creating the things I want to create is actually going to inspire at least one person, right? And that feels so much more meaningful and powerful than the fear of someone not liking what I'm doing or not liking who I am. And so that's what I mean by, like, your why, the reason that you're doing the thing you're doing, the reason that you are showing up as yourself wholeheartedly, has to feel more meaningful than the fear of another person not liking you. And I think from doing that, we get a lot of inspiration to keep showing up, and we get a lot of, motivation and drive to keep being ourselves and expressing our authenticity. And when we do that, when we stand confidently in ourselves and in our beliefs, then it gives people the courage to do the same. And it inspires others to do the same, to seek out their truth and their purpose and the things that make them feel alive, right? It gives them the courage to do that, which then just comes back to you as gratitude and fulfillment. When we feel like we're inspiring people to be authentic, to stand in their truth and authenticity, knowing that not everyone is going to like them, it feels super fulfilling and rewarding. And I think us choosing to find inspiration from our fear that not everyone is going to like us and some people are not going to wish us well, that actually encourages people, and it inspires people to have that same perspective on it, to think about it in the same way of, you know what? not everyone's going to like me. I can use this as a way to learn and grow and better myself. And then I can use that. And then because I've put in all that work to, you know, lift myself up, it's going to encourage people and inspire other people to do the same for themselves and not fear other people's judgments as much. So I think it's just like this one big snowballing effect of, you know, just shifting your thoughts, just shifting the way that you think about something, shift the way that you feel about other people judging you and not liking you. Change what you tell yourself, because, you know, there are always going to be people who are triggered or are made uncomfortable by you being yourself and you creating things that are aligned to you. And it's just about reframing how you feel about them, you know, how you feel about those judgments, you know, reflect on it. And if they, you know, don't like you from a place of harm, then give them love and grace and distance, and keep showing up for yourself and keep being inspired and keep inspiring others, because it is beautiful. And I love seeing people doing amazing in the world. And I think there always comes a time when, you know, to keep being amazing and doing amazing things, you have to address that fear of not being liked and feeling judged and feeling ridiculed. But please keep creating and keep loving and keep sharing and keep being yourself, because you deserve it and it feels amazing when you do show up in your truth. But yeah, that's all from this episode. Thank you for joining me. Thank you for listening along. Let me know what you thought of the episode. I've had a lovely time recording it. Yeah, happy 20th episode. If you've listened to like all of them and have joined me on this journey, freaking thank you immensely. That's such a beautiful thing for you to do. And I love you. So, yeah, the world is waiting for you right now to go get creative and go be yourself and go be inspired. So, get on out there and enjoy your big, beautiful life. Bye.